Good morning everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Before starting with our today's topic, let us quickly revise that there are two sources of business finance. Number one is owner's fund, number two is borrowed funds. Owner's fund constitute equity share capital, preference share capital, retained earnings including reserves and surplus. It is the owner's fund. That means there is no obligation of the company to repay that amount or to pay dividends to the shareholders. If the company has sufficient profits, it may pay dividends, otherwise it may not pay dividends. Number two is borrowed funds. Borrowed funds is the fund which is borrowed by the company in the form of public deposits, debentures, loan from banks, loan from financial institutions, etc. There is a legal obligation on the part of the company to repay this amount along with payment of interest. Therefore, debt is more risky as compared to equity because there is legal obligation to repay this amount, whereas this is not the case in case of equity. Number two, debt is a borrowed fund. That means it has to be repaid, and equity is the owner's fund. There is no obligation to repay the owner's fund. And number three, which is the final one, it says that debt is cheaper as compared to equity. Debt is cheaper as compared to equity. We have already studied, but let me quickly tell you that debt is cheaper because it saves our tax. We do not have to pay tax on debt, number one, on interest paid on debt, number one. And number two, the rate of return given to the debenture holders or to the lenders is less or low as compared to equity shareholders. We have also studied that capital structure is the proportion of debt and equity used for financing business operations, and that with the use of more debt in the capital structure, the return given to the equity shareholders increases. This we have studied in financial leverage. Now students, in order to decide the optimal capital structure for the company, there are certain factors which have to be kept in mind. So our today's topic is factors affecting the choice of capital structure. Number one is cash flow position. Students, if the company wants to raise more of debt, then it should make sure that the company's future cash flows are enough so as to meet the compulsory or mandatory obligations of repaying the principal amount and interest. Because with the use of more debt, more amount has to be compulsorily repaid. Therefore, the company should carefully examine its future cash flow positions. ICR, interest coverage ratio. ICR is the number of times earning before interest and taxes covers the interest obligation of the company. It tells how many times EBIT can repay its interest obligation. Students, that means higher the ratio, higher is the capacity of the company in meeting its debt obligation. So if the ratio is higher, the company can have more of debt. But if the ratio is lower, then the company should resort more to equity because it may not have enough earnings to repay the interest. Although this ICR ratio suffers from a drawback that it does not consider current cash flow positions. So in order to meet this drawback, there is another ratio which has been developed. This is DSCR. DSCR is debt service coverage ratio. It covers the drawback of ICR, interest coverage ratio. It tells the company's ability, how much is the company's ability to pay interest as well as the principal amount. ICR only tells about the ability of the company to pay interest amount, but DSCR tells the company's ability to pay the interest as well as the principal amount. Higher DSCR means higher ability of the company to meet cash commitments, and lower DSCR means lower capability of the company to meet cash commitments. As a result, the company should see whether DSCR is higher or lower, and accordingly debt and equity proportions should be decided. Next is ROI, return on investment. Return on investment, as we have already studied, is EBIT upon total investment into 100. Students, we have already studied that till the time ROI is greater than cost of debt, more of debt should be used so as to increase the earning per share. But if ROI reduces and cost of debt increases, that means cost of debt is more than ROI, then less of debt should be used, because with the increase in cost of debt, the earnings per share is going to reduce. Next is cost of debt. Cost of debt directly influences the amount of debt in the capital structure. If the cost of debt is more, that means interest rate on debt is more, then less of debt should be used. But if interest rate on debt is less, then more of debt can be used. Next is tax rate. Students, we all know that while computation of taxable income, interest paid on debt is treated as a deductible expense. That means tax is not paid on interest paid, right? So in case the tax rate is higher, then company prefer more of debt so as to reduce the taxable income. But if the interest rate is low, then the company can prefer more of equity shares. Next is cost of equity. Students, we have understood in the concept of financial leverage or trading on equity that with the use of more debt in the capital structure, the return given to equity shareholders, that means earning per share, increases, right? But we have also studied that the increase should be such that it is limited to a particular extent. That means till the time ROI is greater than cost of debt, right? So students, this is because with the increase in use of debt in the capital structure, the financial risk of equity shareholders or the owners of the company increases. How does it increase? Because if there is more of debt, that means there is more of legal obligation to repay more of amount along with the interest, right? If there is less debt, that means less amount has to be repaid. But if there is more debt, that means more amount has to be repaid. Therefore, the owners have financial risk. Shareholders are the owners of the company, so they bear more financial risk in case of use of more debt in the capital structure. And bearing of risk is directly related to expected rate of return. We already know, higher the risk, higher the gain. So if they are taking more risk, then they expect more rate of return. So it should be kept in mind that debt should be used only to a limited extent. Next is flotation cost. Flotation cost refers to the cost involved in issuing of securities. For example, brokerage, commission, underwriting commissions, etc. The flotation cost should be carefully studied for each of the securities. For example, for arranging loan, the flotation cost is less as compared to issuing of shares and debentures. So, flotation cost should also be properly examined before taking the decision of how much should be raised from capital, from debt, and how much should be raised from equity. Next is risk consideration. Students, there are generally two types of risks that a company faces. Number one is business risk and number two is financial risk. Business risk is the risk of inability to meet fixed operating charges. Fixed operating charges like rent, insurance premium, salary, etc. Okay, and financial risk is the risk of inability to meet the financial obligations of the company, like preference dividend, payment of preference dividend, payment of interest, payment of principal amount, etc. The total risk of the firm depends upon both of them, business risk as well as financial risk. If the business risk of the firm is lower, then it can go for more financial risk, right? That means if the business risk is lower, the company can have more of debt and have more of financial risk. But if the company is already having a lot of business risk, that means it's not sure that it will be in a position to meet future insurance charges, salaries and rents, etc., then in that case it should not increase its financial risk by having more of debt. Okay, because total risk of the company depends upon both of them, financial risk as well as business risk. If business risk was already more, then financial risk should be avoided by having less of debt. And if business risk is less, then financial risk can be taken by having more of debt in the capital structure. Next is flexibility. Students, if a firm already has excess of debt in the capital structure, then it reduces its flexibility to have more debt in future. Because already there is a lot of fixed obligation for the company, then no more fixed obligation can be further entertained by the owners of the company or the stakeholders of the company. So therefore, in order to remain flexible, limited amount of debt should be raised by the company. Next is control considerations. Students, we know that owners of the company control the company. We know control is in the hands of the owners always, right? So use of debt, more debt, does not dilute the control of equity shareholders, but use of more equity dilute the control of equity shareholders. If there are 10, for example, if there are 10 equity shareholders, that means there are 10 owners of the company, right? If there are 20 equity shareholders, that means the control is diluted. There are 20 owners. If there are 400 shareholders, that means there are 400 owners, so control is diluted. Okay, so if the existing shareholders do not wish to dilute their control or limit their control, you can say, then in that case more of debt should be used. But if existing shareholders do not have any problem with the dilution of control, then the company can have more of equity also. Next is regulatory framework. The next most important thing is the regulatory framework. The issue of securities, whether debt or equity, should be done keeping in mind the guidelines issued by SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India. Furthermore, the companies usually prefer those securities which have less and easy regulatory frameworks, which are easy legal requirements. Next is stock market conditions. Students, there are two stock market conditions: bullish phase and bearish phase. Bullish phase is boom and bearish phase is depression. Bullish phase, in bullish phase, investors are ready to take risk. They are extremely risk bearers at that time, because they know that whatever is they are taking, they may get a good return out of it. So even at higher prices at bullish phase, investors are ready to invest in shares. They are ready to take the risk. However, in case of bearish phase or in depression, investors are not ready to invest in equity shares. They're not ready to take the risk. They prefer debt in that case to have fixed income in the future. So the phase of the market should be properly studied. If there is depression, then less of equity should be used and more of debt should be used, because investors prefer debt. And if there is a bearish phase, if there is a bullish phase, there is boom, then in that case more of equity should be issued, because investors prefer more of equity. Capital structure of other companies. Capital structure of other companies should also be kept in mind, because that acts as a guiding force for the company. What is the capital structure followed by other companies in the same industry, that also should be studied. However, companies should not follow it blindly. You should obviously take careful considerations of all other factors discussed above. So students, these were the factors which affect the choice of capital structure, and the ultimate aim of studying the factors affecting choice of capital structure is also to increase the market value of the shares and increase the wealth in the hands of equity shareholders.